When something happens to your kitchen and you say,
"This is ludicrous."
Anytime
Burn live, y'all. Merv Wankley keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers' eye red, keeping underage smoking on social media, killing myself for your entertainment. Sitting here with friends and family, starting a cannabisation. I appreciate people tuning in to the podcast today. Man, I really wanted this to be a highly anticipated, highly interesting show for you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people that are tuning in, especially to my new listeners. I want to give a second and a time to shout out to my new listeners, the people that are just now finding the channel, or the few people that just subscribed to my channel this morning. Want to give a special shout out to you. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Burn Live Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, getting that out the way, ladies and gentlemen, the I got a few stories to go over today. One of the main stories we will be discussing and going over and talking about is is the actual. There was a news conference on what was that on NBC News where a guy was protesting get the teacher protesting for the teachers and what's going on in schools. Um, Anybody seen that I had a special guest on not too long ago, and I did get to jot down and explain a few things that were going on in the school system that have been making airway, and she couldn't believe it, and I can't believe that a lot of people are still not hearing some of these stories. It's shocking to me to learn that people are not hearing these stories. So, what's up, Randy? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Where you at? I'm in the headquarters. That's where I'm at. I'm at the headquarters. What's up? How you doing? Welcome to the show, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I was trying to explain to y'all, um, a lot of people don't know what's going on in school systems with the grooming of the kids and all that stuff that are taking place, which is to me is one of the most disgusting things that are going on. But understandable, a lot of people are not seeing that this are actually taking place. It's sad, true indeed. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be up here and to BS anybody around or to pussyfoot anybody. I'm not the one to do that or to say that this is happening and this is what's really going on. So yet again, I found this article, this news video, and the questions that the man was asking the guy about, hey, do you believe that schools or teachers are grooming kids? And he was trying to answer in so many questions. Dude was like essentially saying, yes, there are grooming kids in school, and you got to either respect it or know that it's happening. You can't act like it's not happening and then just like ignore it. And this is where I'm on. I am totally for that. You cannot just sit up here and ignore and act like things are not happening, especially when there's TikTok videos, there's YouTube videos. There are podcasters literally going out the way to let people know that this is really truly happening. What's up, Jimmy? Welcome to the show. But y'all really got to know that this is happening. This is really going down. What amazes me is the fact that a lot of people honestly can say that they don't know, they never heard of these stories. And so that makes me want to bring this story to light. Like, I got to show you guys that this is really going down and that this really be happening. And for one quick second, I'm having a hard time. I'm having struggle. I can't get to my thing, which is crazy. So give me 2 seconds, y'all. I supposed to already had this all lined up and ready to go, but obviously I don't. I don't have it all lined up to go. And it's a 15-minute story, so I do want to just break this down.
Where?
Chuck.
Okay. Do 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 do. Awesome. Oh yeah. So what are y'all smoking on? I'm sorry, y'all. This is a marijuana group. I truly let me know what you're smoking on and hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry some groups are not being televised. It's weird. Weird, weird, weird. Oh my god, that's all up in my way, huh? There we go. My bad. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is a lesson that we can need to be taught, need to be seen. I'm gonna get into this. We're gonna break it down. Start off nice with the meet the press. Meet the press.
Welcome back. As the old expression goes, where you stand on an issue depends on where you sit. And we're about to hear two opposing views on what Dennis Prager is doing. Ryan Walters is Oklahoma's superintendent of education. And as you saw in Antonia Hilton's report, he's a big supporter of PragerU. And Francesca Tripodi is a sociologist who has studied the use of search engines by conservatives to help with indoctrination. She is also the author of The Propagandist's Playbook. Welcome to both of you. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. Why is the answer to what you believe might be liberal indoctrination going to the far right and conservative like Dennis Prager?
Well, what I would say, Chuck, is what we have seen for the last several decades is a push from higher education to drive radical left-wing Marxist propaganda into the classroom. What we've heard from parents for decades is we want our kids to understand American exceptionalism. We want them to understand what makes this country great. And we want it done in a way that our kids can grasp it. We want it to be very tangible. I think PragerU is doing a tremendous job in sort of a modern-day Federalist Papers to say.
If people don't know what PragerU is a YouTube channel. You got to go check them out. I did put the link in the description at most of these podcast places where you can find me. If I did not put the description in the link, I would do that at the end of the show so you can find the link. You can find these links to find the bigger thing. Now, like I said, PragerU is a YouTube channel who took the time out to explain things, to go into a little bit more definition of what a conservative is, what a liberal is, what these movements that are happening really are. They really go down, break it down, and enlighten people of what's going on. So the question is about this company and the stuff that they put out, and are they putting out stuff that's talking about teachers and schools? Are they wrong? Are they being misinformed? What do y'all think? That's the question that they're trying to get at right now. Just to let y'all know and speed y'all up on what's going on.
Hey, here's the Constitution. Here's these core concepts. We want to make it very attainable for kids to understand it. And let's keep moving towards this.
I've read all the Federalist Papers. Federalist Papers actually go weigh both sides of an argument.
Sure.
PragerU doesn't. Oh, I mean, PragerU, these videos are very, are very sort of a one perspective only. And that's why I'm confused by this. I understand. I grew up in a bipartisan household. I grew up in a household where my father was complaining about the textbooks.
The question I would have, and I would want y'all to kind of have and think about, is what do you mean by it's one-sided? The truth and what goes on in a school is only one side. It's only the right side that needs to be taught in school, the fundamentals, reading, writing, arithmetics, social studies, science, and a little bit of health. Things that are being taught in school today now are gender, ideology, sexualizing, and stuff like that. I don't think these things are appropriate to be in school and to be taught. That should be one of the focus that we main on, and this company that they're talking about prides on.
But it was about getting all the perspectives. Prager only is doing one. It seems to me it's the same issue that you should be complaining about, the left's doing, that the right's doing.
No, you see, and I hear this some from the left-wing media, but Chuck, I know, I hear your show.
You're not on left-wing media,
no, I know.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm saying, you dive
Meet
into
the
these
press.
issues.
Hold on.
And when we take a look at Prager,
Hey, when it's all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, Meet the Press is a left-wing democratical movement channel, okay? They will be happy to see Trump locked up. They can't wait to see Trump locked up. Okay, so we not finna play. Don't have nobody play no reindeer games with you when it comes to what these media outlets are producing. Okay.
what we're doing, it's a callback to the primary sources to do a deep dive. I've watched these videos and they're available to the public. Parents have been asking for it. PragerU is a response to what Americans have been asking for. We want to see
It's
our
a great
history.
tool for parents.
Yes,
Well, why
yes,
should it be forced into the schools? It's a political agenda.
No, I reject that. What we see here is our schools have been pushing this left-wing ideology for decades. It's time to get back to the basics.
Were you pushing a left-wing ideology?
I absolutely was not. I
So
saw
then
that.
You're one of the point is, I hear this, and yet that isn't what you talk to teachers, and it's a lot more of a nuanced conversation than the way you're presenting it.
Chuck, we literally have these, social media accounts like Libs for TikTok that go viral with teachers' own words about how they're injecting this ideology in the classroom. Higher ed has become run amok with Marxists that are pushing this ideology on our kids. It's
Who's a Marxist?
anti-American.
What's Marxism?
Marxism.
Define it for me, please.
It's Karl Marx's belief that you've got to supplement the family entirely.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a socialist takeover of the economy. And not only that, but there's the
And our school
socialist.
system is teaching there should be a socialist takeover of the economy? The American school system?
Absolutely.
Where?
Chuck, you've seen the videos of the teachers on camera saying we're doing that.
See, this is where he should go to the facts. Man, they doing it in California schools. You can literally, your kid, let me rephrase this and let me break this down for people that are watching. Your child can leave your home saying that you are mistreating them and run to California and get put in a home and be not yours no more. At the age of 10 and 8, kids are allowed to have sex change at the age of 8 without your consent in some states. Okay?
You've seen the curriculum in our schools saying that as well. And you've seen, by the way, the response to the American people in electing President Trump was a repudiation of this. They want to make America great again. And that starts with an understanding what made America great in the first place. That's what I see PragerU doing, and that's what I think we've got to be doing in our schools.
All right, Francesca, you call it propaganda. I mean, look, it isn't part of the problem here. We're assuming everybody has got evil intent here.
Sure. I think it's very first important to define the words that we're using, right? So when I use the phrase propaganda, propaganda is about uniting individuals, brands, and nations into a common conversation, whether that be deceitful and sometimes truthful information. But the goal is to shape an agenda around a very specific
I worry about the use of the word, because the minute you say the word,
sure,
everybody gets defensive, right? You get defensive. You use the
Yes.
word propaganda, you're like,
Sure.
One person's propagandist is another person's truth teller.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for us to, though, think about this phrase indoctrination as well, right? So indoctrination is about uncritical thinking. And I would say that's the opposite of what's happening in schools. Schools are not about teaching kids what to think. They're about teaching kids how to think. And what's concerning to me about videos like PragerU is that we're effectively saying, hey, kids, go to YouTube. Let's go to TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's go to YouTube. And the thing about Prager University is that it does not exist in a vacuum. Nothing on the internet does. These kinds of videos are algorithmically connected to the other guests that they have on their videos. Many of these guests have their own shows, their own agenda. And so when we advocate for something that's effectively a YouTube channel, we have to be really mindful about where that journey might lead our children.
Whose responsibility is, though, to deal with this?
Basically, my podcast, ladies and gentlemen, that I have right here that I do, that I love doing with you guys, sitting up here explaining about exposing the truth to the people who are asleep to reality. When I put up these videos and I'm like, hey, you got this school system out here, you got these people out here that's really trying to set an agenda for your child. When your child backtalks you and has a whole nother upbringing, kids are having a different upbringing than what you were upbrought. Okay? When your teacher at your school is teaching your students, your kids, something that you do not agree upon, when people can sit up there and really say that, hey, I agree or I disagree with what this person is doing, is really affecting me and blah, 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 then you like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Okay. You got a black, I think it was a black preacher on TikTok, bro. He literally is going around to school board meetings, telling people, hey, this is going on in the schools. Reading textbooks that's going on in schools. But I know a lot of y'all got kids and y'all be like, oh man, my kid will never be trying to get his sex change. Okay. Y'all better start going to these schools. I'm even hearing that teachers are making sure that you parents are not allowed in them schools to even ask questions, to even propose about the ideology. Now, if your kid's getting bullied or beat up or something like that, I bet you up in that. But if you're going to question a teacher and the thought process of what he or she is going through, I guarantee you are not up in
The social media issue.
Whose responsibility
Parents,
is it to deal
the
with the
social media companies?
issues?
I mean, you see what I mean here? I mean, these algorithms, you're right.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, how
Yes.
is it that it is, are you saying that school systems shouldn't use this stuff because of how it can be manipulated?
I think it's very concerning whenever you have educators supplementing curriculum, because curriculum has been tested. It's pedagogical. Our teachers go to school to learn how to become educators.
Right.
I wouldn't advocate to replace schools with TED Talks either, right? Schools are meant to inform and educate. Now, when it comes to regulating content on social media and search engines, I think we have a couple different things that we need to think about. One, we have to think about that these search engines and these social media companies are in fact companies. They're not designed for the public good. They're designed for the bottom line.
Yeah, ABC Mouse still charges me money. Okay, I mean, I'm sure you got, once you subscribe, you can't seem to get out of it. My kids are in college.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, right? So this is a monetization model.
Yes.
And that's not public education. And so I think it's very important we differentiate between those two things.
I want to go back to what I would assume you really want to do. And I say this, I'm not trying to question your motives here, which is take politics out of the education.
Yes, sir.
How does bringing Dennis Prager in take politics out?
If you look at the content, what you see is a deep dive into American history. What you see is a way to get kids interested and excited about America and these figures in America. And it's always pointing to more questions. And that's what we've got to do. We have got to teach kids how to think, not what to think. I think these videos...
This was an agreement here. I was just going to say, you both used good language here. I completely agree. How to teach kids how to think, not what to think. So we do agree on that.
And I want to say...
So what are kids...
we're talking about Prager.
What are kids thinking in school? When the last time you asked your child, what are you thinking in school? What are teachers teaching you? Are you actually learning something in school? I guarantee you're not asking your kids that for the simple fact. You don't ask your kids that as long as your kids come home with good grades. You're not asking your kids nothing. thing. You are happy your kids got good grades. You happy that they out your face. You not bothered with them. That's what you're happy about. Let's keep it real. You're content knowing the fact that they ain't gotta bother you. They do not have to bother you. You are happy, content. We are chilling. We are striving to be the best. Okay? Start asking your kids what going on in these schools. Go into these schools and start looking around and see if the American flag in the schools. Now listen here. Understandable that a lot of people are not patriotic. But you better start teaching patriotic into these kids because you got a lot of immigrants here who are gonna be teaching these kids Venezuela, New Mexico, India, Germany, Jamaica. Okay. Everybody gonna be swatting it from another country.
About the teachers union have had so much power over our schools. They tell you they're pushing a left-wing agenda. They tell you that that's the content they want in schools. They actively motivated or are motivated by those goals. So they are actively pushing these things in our schools. So that's the where it's been. Yeah. PragerU is bringing it back to going, let's do a deep dive in history and let's have these conversations.
I mean, with all due respect, I think it's important that we listen to our teachers. And my mom was a teacher and I'm a teacher. And from what I can tell, the teachers are not out there trying to push an agenda. The teachers are trying to survive. Our teachers are underpaid. Our teachers are undervalued. There is a huge shortage of
everybody
teachers across our
in
country.
America
Universities right now are having to create a fast-track education degree to fill gaps.
To try and fill gaps.
Because there's massive, you know this, right? You're looking for teachers right now, I bet.
And we know that teachers are leaving the education field, not because they don't have the degrees, but because they are underpaid. And so I think it's really important that we take a step back and really listen to our teachers. If we want to fix the challenges in the education system, which I think we all do, right? We have to listen to our teachers. We have to empower our teachers.
Go ahead. We've had the largest teacher recruitment program in state history this year. We've recruited over 900 teachers to our state using free market principles. And by the way, pointing out, we're not going to allow unions to control our schools. We're going to get discipline back in schools. And we're going to bring resources like PragerU to the classroom. We have been very open about that, and we've recruited a record amount of teachers to the classroom.
But by bringing PragerU, and I keep coming back to this, again, I respect your concern about liberal politics. Why don't you respect the concern about bringing conservative politics into the classroom?
Well, what's conservative about a deep dive into Thomas Jefferson?
Yes, that's the question. I was going to say, so what is the problem with conservative ideology in schools? What's wrong with learning about the forefathers in school? What's wrong with learning about the Civil War in school? What's wrong with learning about the 13 colonies and the Constitution and the Independence Day and the true Americanized system that we was taught when we grew up? The reason why we love America and ain't none of us have went to Africa or Jamaica or India or Pakistan or any of these other countries where we can go.
What's conservative about the deep dive in the Federalist Papers? Conservatives hold this.
Not what I saw with Christopher Columbus. That didn't seem like much of an education. That just seemed like an op-ed in a cartoon form.
It was an introduction to Christopher Columbus to get kids to start asking questions about what was Columbus's impact. And I believe, Chuck, this to be common sense. We can get back to a place in education. I hear it from parents all the time. We want curriculum we can see. We want our kids to understand what makes America great. Because frankly, that's what we want for the future of the country. But you see the reaction to it from the radical left. It is because the Prager University is actually bringing education back to the basics and saying, let's have the conversations about Christopher Columbus. But we're not just going to come in here and say these people are terrible individuals. We're going to look at their accomplishments and we're going to weigh those things out and we're going to view it all through the prism of American exceptionalism and our core principles and say, did they live up to the principles or did they not? That's a great conversation.
So you believe there should be a biased education in America?
No.
Yet again, I'm gonna sort of elaborate on this question because a lot of people would sit up here and say that George Washington. We're gonna use George Washington for a prime example. Y'all would sit up here and say George Washington shouldn't have been the first president. He probably shouldn't have been a president at all because yet again he had slaves. Everybody's gonna sit up here and say anybody that had a slave or that remotely said, thought, processed anything racist do not earn the right to have the money, the lifestyle that person is living. Okay? George Washington wanted to free slaves, but understood in his time and era, it was too early. He would have not won the people over to trying to sway them into to freeing slaves. I said smoking weed, I'm sorry. Into freeing slaves. You got a lot of, Thomas Jefferson is another person that had slaves who put in his memoir, you know what I'm saying? He did not appreciate having slaves, and he freed his slaves after he was dead because he knew that he couldn't do it while he was alive. Now, y'all was probably sit up here and say, that was wrong. He still kept slaves. But how good, you don't even know how good he treated his slaves. I'm not saying I know either. I'm not going to say he treated them good, he treated them bad. I don't know. I know he had slaves. I know he tried to get rid of them. I know it wasn't going to happen in his time and era when he tried to do it. So yet again, what is the problem of learning education, how it really, really was? But yet again, I can also say, if you open up a conversation like they did the movie Roots. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the movie Roots came out. Let's sit down all in the classroom and watch this movie together. It's history. And look at the outrage and the outroar because it's not explained to people that, okay, black people were slaves in America, but also black people in Africa had slaves too. Y'all not going to go there. Y'all not going to talk about stuff like that. But yet again, we're sitting up here talking about the education and how it's proceeded in schools. Education and how it's presented in schools. So, what do you want your kids to really open up their minds and see? What do you want your kids to learn? You want your kids to learn that, hey, America is not the best place to be, lead the country. America is cruel, you know what I'm saying, protected. And a good 20 years, ladies and gentlemen, America is going to be ran by a whole nother country. We are going to be back in slavery. You either gonna let a Muslim country come over here and take this, or you're gonna let China come over here and take us. Matter of fact, what's crazy and what's stupid is we're so soft on war, military, and education that yes, other countries are probably gonna fight each other to try to take over us because that's how bad they want to take over us so bad. We are building a country where we worried about our sex. We worried about who we banging, who we done spent and bent. That's all we worried about is who we spent and bent. Worrying about education? No, y'all not worried about education. Most of y'all parents are still worried about, oh man, what club can I go to? What's the hottest club can I go to? What's the hottest concert I can get up in? Where's the newest vacation spot I can go take? I did my job. Y'all not ready though. Y'all not understanding where we coming, where we living up in here for. Okay. I'm gonna play some more of this
If somebody
video.
chooses to have a conservative education in Oklahoma for their kids, that's what they should be able to have.
I believe that we need, I mean, I'm a supporter of school choice where I want parents to be able to choose the school that their kids
Do you think
attend.
we should be educating kids based on political ideology?
No, I think we should get back to the basics, Chuck, where we're actually talking about these issues. We're bringing them to the kids' attention and going, here's George Washington, here's what he did. And we've got to be able to acknowledge the Founding Fathers forever changed the course
Told ya,
of human
George
events with the
Washington.
Declaration of Independence. It was a great document. We shouldn't be afraid to say that in our schools.
Francesca, should we be trying to teach a liberal perspective, a conservative perspective, and then reality?
I mean, I think really what I would like to do is go back to this conversation of teaching students the basics and teaching kids the basics. This assumes that curriculum exists in a vacuum and that it just never changes and that we have no tools like science to evaluate how people learn and what kinds of things should we be learning. I mean, my kids come home with math lessons. Math has changed dramatically, and that doesn't
Trust
mean
me. Yeah,
right. I mean, we have this
finally
joke.
teaching it logically by tens.
Math has changed dramatically. Somebody let me know how math has changed. Let me know, because I know if I have $1 plus $1 is $2. If I have $2 and I add $2 more, that's $4. That math ain't changed. So somebody gonna have to explain to me. Please explain to me. Tell me, somebody, anybody, how math has changed. I love doing math. Math was my favorite. I don't believe there's a math problem out here I can't really solve. And even if I have to use my finger, toes to solve the problem.
Sure.
We should have been taught
They're
it that
teaching
way,
it
but it's
logically,
harder.
and we should have done it. But is it confusing to me? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I understand it? No way. But just because I don't understand how this model of math is now transforming education and really improving the way that my kids learn, that doesn't mean that it's bad. And what's really powerful and really wonderful about, we think that a free tool like PragerU seems really compelling. I understand why it seems compelling. There's no cost, right, to the educator. But I think we have to be really mindful of the fact that by giving this free resource, we are effectively going to a monetization content that we don't have any kind of control over. You know, the curriculum is very highly controlled. Teachers have to teach to a set of standards that they end up being assessed by. Teachers can't just make up whatever they want to teach. And so I think it's important to understand that even though curriculum is evolving and even though curriculum doesn't seem familiar to us, that doesn't mean it's wrong.
Let me ask you this. If parents don't want PragerU taught in a school that they're sending their kid to, what should they do?
Not subscribe to the channel. That's easy. That's easy. Don't subscribe to the channel. That was easy. Don't subscribe to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm not going to... I just wanted to play that because I wanted to show a couple of people, like, the school system and their thought process is... I had to whisper that cuss word because I'm supposed to not be cussing and stuff. Okay. We're supposed to be having a friendly conversation, a good conversation, an educational conversation. What I like to say, a cannabis-sation is what I like to call it. I don't know how good I'm supposed to be having this mic. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to not have it all the way up. That's one thing. I'm just sitting up here wondering how you got, how y'all be taking the information when I be giving it out, when I dish it out to y'all. How do y'all be taking this? Yes, my voice mod is on. My voice is high pitched. I don't know why my voice is high pitched. What you mean by high pitched? See, that's making me nervous.
Is that better? I just did that too. So I wanted to make sure I get this right real quick, y'all. I was listening to yet again Meet the Press, ladies and gentlemen, and
You know, the narrative that
I was listening to this conversation right here. Okay. This conversation right here. This lady who, if y'all don't know, because y'all don't watch my show, y'all don't watch the news and stuff like that. But this lady right here got attacked during the ROC debate by Vicky Ramaswamy as she, you know what I'm saying, she had a one-on-one press meeting with Trump, broke ratings for the company and stuff like that. But I know y'all don't care. And, you know, she used words and she tried to define Trump. A lot of people try to define this man Trump as a Nazi defining person. He's not a very well oiled machine. I'm just using these terms because dog, this interview, and I'm trying to make sure I get it towards the beginning. Okay. I don't want to get it right here at the beginning of this conversation because this conversation right here, especially these two, is interesting. Like I said, a lot of people out here, especially in the media, and remember, y'all seen that other about teachers, and the guy said, "No, this it's not a left wing." So listen to these questions.
And joining me now is Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Senator Graham, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Let's start with the border negotiations.
Okay.
There is so much focus on that. You have been
Right.
so focused on that. Can you bring us up to speed? What's the very latest? Do you think there's going to be a deal before the new year?
No, I think this will go into next year. I've been talking to the people at the table. The White House got engaged 5 days ago. They sent over a supplemental with border security provisions that did nothing to change policy. We've been talking to them since September. 5 days ago, they finally said at this table, Senator Lankford's doing a good job. The bottom line here is we feel like we're being jammed. We're not anywhere close to a deal. It'll go into next year. And let me tell you why it's important to get a good border security deal. What Congressman Castro said was pretty offensive. According to the FBI director last week, he's never seen more threats to the homeland than he does today. Wherever he looks, he sees blinking lights. The border has been obliterated.
Now, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of reports of us talking about the border. And I understand because now where I live at and the people that are surrounded by me, you would think that I would be sensitive on talking about the border because there are a lot of people that, you know, family that are not heritage from here. And yes, I'm still going to talk about the border. I showed videos, was it 2 days ago, 3 days ago? I showed videos of, man, it was crazy. It's crazy out here. If y'all not understanding how crazy it is out here because y'all are sleeping and y'all not taking the time out to look at some of these news. And I understand because I got a good friend that's like, man, I don't like looking at the news. It's sad. So when a government come knocking at your door and you don't know what's going on, don't say shh.
Rated since January 21 till now. We've had 6 million people come to date. There are 3.6 million on schedule to come this year alone. The policy choices of the Biden administration has made the border a dangerous place to come to. America is under threat, according to the FBI director, since October the 7th. Jihadist groups want to attack us because we're helping Israel. I've never been more worried about a 9/11 than I am right now, and our border has been obliterated, and we're not going to give in on some Band-Aid fix.
I want to talk about the proposals that are under discussion, but just to be very clear, you say you're not close to a deal, but it sounds like there has been some measured progress, both sides are coming closer together. How would you characterize that progress?
Oh, the only way we're ever going to get a secure border is we got to make them do things they don't want to do, but they're getting there. It was a choice by the Biden administration to change policy. It led to this debacle. But there is progress on asylum. There's ways to go on parole. You tell me Ukraine's important, I agree with you. To all the national security experts, when you say if we don't help Ukraine, they could lose and the world would fall into chaos, Putin will keep going, I agree with you. But if you're a national security expert, you should have the same energy and vigor to fix a broken border.
And of course, the Biden administration has argued there are a complex set of factors which have led to the migrants who are crossing the border. Let me ask,
can I just comment on that? You chose to undo Trump policies. You gave in to people like Mr. Castro. You created a nightmare. It's bitten you in the ass, and you need to change policy. This is not unseen factors. This is a policy choice that's led to the border being obliterated, and we're not.
This is saying that Joe Biden needs to go ahead and say, hey, American people, I messed up about saying that I didn't want to look like a Trump person and fixing the border because we do have a border crisis. But then you got your press secretary that says, we knew that the border crisis was a problem for decades. I heard her actually use the word decades, okay, ladies and gentlemen, which shocked me, blew my mind. I was like, but understandable. For decades, you knew for a fact that y'all was having problems. I get it. Kind of late to the ball game, and now admitting when Democrats won it. But you are finna hear, if I'm not mistaken, that order to fix our border, this American weed flag, y'all see this? Because I hope y'all smoking with me. I hope y'all dabbing with me. Okay, I hope this is first. But to protect this first, we got to send money to a whole nother country. Okay? That's the problem.
I'm going to take a Band-Aid approach as a solution.
Let me ask you, because Democrats are always also saying that what you are proposing would effectively shut down the border to families who are seeking asylum, who are running for their lives, Senator. What do you say to that criticism?
I would say asylum is being gamed. They're playing. Remember the guy who said, thank you, President Biden, went to New York? He says, I'm not here to leave oppression. I'm here to have a better life. Under the Biden administration, the asylum system has become a joke.
But Senator, just very quickly, would these proposals effectively shut down the border to asylum seekers, to people who are running for their lives?
90% of the people who claim asylum are denied. So the
Okay. When you running from hell, where can you go? Can you just run to anybody's house like they gonna open up their doors? Like they gonna let you in? Don't you see in most movies when they show people opening up doors and stuff like that, don't they be stuck? If we keep locked doors in your home, why can't we lock our borders up? If it's hard to get inside another country, why is it so easy to get over here in America? Other countries was made off some of the harshest backs of people, but we want to be the most openest, freest, as a bird, sing the most lolliest, jolliest songs. But under what circumstances are we willing to do this? I don't think people sometimes realize that some of that sacrifice that we're gonna take is biting us in the ass. Stop letting things bite us in the ass. Okay, this right here, when I don't know, but when white people talk to white people, I think y'all better shut up and listen. Cause I guess they not talking to us black folks, but black folks, we the main people that need to listen. We as black people and Mexicans shift votes dramatically. Say it again. Black folks and Mexican groups in America shifts votes dramatically. Dramatically. It's so many people in those communities alone that don't vote, don't think about it, don't care until they get older. And then they're trying to play catch up of learning. Man, I need to learn about politics. I need to see what be going on. You know, the government is but this. But yet again, they still would sit up there and listen to he say, she say.
They're coming here for economic opportunity, not fleeing oppression. Under international law, you're supposed to apply for asylum in the first safe third country. 70% of the people would be denied asylum under international law, but Biden chooses to ignore the law. This is not people running for their lives. They're running here because the border is wide open. They think if they get here, make an asylum claim, they never leave.
And of course, the administration's argument is that they are trying to have tougher protections at the border while also trying to have a humane response to those who want to get here.
11,000 people Friday.
Let me ask you about Ukraine, because you just mentioned Ukraine as well. Obviously, if you break through this logjam at the border, you get a deal on Ukraine as well. The last time you were on this program, here's what you said about the need to fund Ukraine. Take a look.
To my House colleagues, if you strip out Ukrainian aid, Russia will keep going. There will eventually be a war between NATO and Russia, and it will be a green light to China to invade Taiwan.
Senator, this week you said, quote, I'm more worried about our border than Ukraine, 100%. If you don't get a deal on the border, are you willing to walk away from aid to Ukraine, or is that not still essential?
I am willing to help Ukraine. The package sent over by the president was pretty robust. The package sent over by the president to help Israel, I'm 100% for. The package sent over in September to help Taiwan, count me in. The border provisions sent over in September are a joke. October the 7th is a game changer. The FBI director said he's never seen more threats to the homeland than he does now. We're helping Israel, and jihadist groups want to hit us to punish us for helping Israel.
We want to protect our border first, but we still worried about another country. I just say switch the, audit. We need to audit the White House. Yet again, we need to audit the White House. People be think I be on some funny ha he he when I say that. We need to audit the White House. Everything that goes on with the White House, oh my God, they got Jonathan Major, ladies and gentlemen. They got him.
Hey there, family, while you're shopping, get me a 5G phone. It's on.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, I've been low-key keeping up with this story because Jonathan Major is important to a movie series that I watch. You know, so actually the story been going up and down, up and down. To be honest with you, this Jonathan Major story has been going. If you don't know who Jonathan Major is, You seen him in Creed 3. You seen him in Ant-Man. You seen him in Loki. Look. I can't think of his other movies, but I have seen him in other movies. Jonathan Major is a once again is a good actor. Quit playing with the man. But this story right here is for the birds.
And hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips.
And I'm Terry Miranda. We've got some breaking news. The jury in the Jonathan Majors domestic violence trial has found him guilty of 1 count of assault and 1 count of harassment, but acquitted him of another count of assaulting his former girlfriend. This comes after jurors spent 4 or 5 hours deliberating over portions of several days. And this is a case that has gotten a lot of attention. Jonathan Majors, a major rising star, and he met a crisis in this, and the jury has now returned with its verdict.
And there was a lot of talk about this trial impacting his future in the movie business. Rising star within the Marvel movies. Our legal contributor, Brian Buckmeyer, has been following this from the very beginning as well. So I guess let's first of all talk about the charges here. Brian, your first reaction.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of scratching my head just because I'm looking at the different charges, and let me break it down and explain. There are 2 different assaults here. One is intentional assault and one is reckless assault. Based on the number order that they're telling us, my guess, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, is they're acquitting him of intentional assault, but finding him guilty of reckless assault, meaning that he just did something he should have known better, and it caused the injury of Grace Jabari. Then he's found not guilty of aggravated assault, which is to alarm, annoy, harass, or threaten someone and subject them to physical violence. But he's not guilty of that, but he is guilty of alarming and annoying Grace Jabari. To me, this sounds like we call it a King Solomon decision. They literally just split the baby and said half and half, but some of the convictions and some of the acquittals don't really make sense when you put them all together.
Well, Brian,
don't it sound like they just tried to? They just like, man, we gotta hit you with something. Like I didn't go over the case because, like I said, I don't be in people's business like that. I don't think it's my right to be in your business unless you affect a state or a governor, or you affect marijuana business or anything like that. Then I'm gonna be like, "What's up? Like, we got a problem. You know, we need to sit down. We need to have a conversation. We need to see what's up. Okay, we need to see what's up. We need to see what's popping. But." It's like saying, I didn't whoop your ass. I defended myself, but I got charges for defending myself. Is that how we rocking? Is that what we doing? Is them how the wheels on the bus go round and around? I guess so. I'm just asking these questions because you heard the man break it down. It's 2 different. It's like you said, they just seen one thing, they split it in 2. Like, we're gonna give you the lighter version instead of the heavy version. But in the same case, before they finish, and I'm just making an assumption, it does sound like he not going to jail though.
Let me try to make a little sense. I wonder, I don't know the exact fact pattern since I wasn't in the courtroom, but couldn't you say that in the fury of what is a domestic dispute, he was reckless in his handling, in his physical handling of Jabari, and that was the reckless assault, and the harassment is he lost his temper rather than consciously went after her. Does that make sense?
No, because it would make sense for the reckless and then the aggravated harassment, because the aggravated harassment is harassing someone through physical violence. So why find him guilty of assaulting recklessly, but not guilty of harassing someone through physical force? That's the part that I'm thinking someone just kind of said, you know what, right, we'll find him guilty for 2, but not guilty for these 2. But it could work. Someone's got to talk to the jury, I guess.
Yeah. Let's talk about the evidence, because there was clearly clashing narrative from both sides. We had video, audio, text, photos. Do we have that video. Okay, this is some of the photos that we had here of the bruises and the cuts. This is the video that I'm talking about.
Bing.
I mean, this was probably one of the...
Man, that's putting her in a car. That's putting her in the car. Let me try to blow this up. This the stuff that people... This is stuff that people blew up. Yeah. I'll make that a little bit bigger. So, I'm going to go back one more second.
The bruises and the cuts. This is
See? Pick
the
up,
video that I'm talking about.
He picked up and put it in the car.
Probably one of the most powerful pieces of the evidence.
Now, ain't that looking like he trying to get away from her? I seen these videos. I looked at it. I was like, it look like he's trying to get away.
In court, Brian.
Absolutely. And I was in court watching some of this video being played to the jury, and I think it was difficult for both the prosecution and the defense to really articulate this video in a way that really moved the jury. And I think ultimately the jury kind of took this case into their own hands. We saw that from the jury notes, saying we want all of the evidence, pretty much video, testimony, 911 calls, and they decided for themselves. For me, is this Jonathan Majors assaulting his then girlfriend, then running away, or is this him trying to stop her from stealing, or I guess re-stealing his cell phone and getting away from her? The juxtaposition of how this was presented to the jury, I think, is what caused the deliberation to take so long.
And Shopify's point of sale
Bo, I gotta take her of this
system helps
having commercial stuff. My bad, y'all.
And obviously that the prosecution would have to prove, right? And so here they are. She has seen the
That looked like you putting yourself too far, too in a way when you doing too much. That's what that looked like. You was doing too much. That looked like you were doing too much. Okay? It don't look like you got assaulted. It don't look like you got your ass beat. It just look like you did too much and you got scrapped. Like when you was playing with your cat and your cat didn't like you at the moment. That's what that looked like.
spark that triggered this fight was she saw what she thought was a message from another woman on his phone. So she was trying to grab the phone. He's trying to grab it back. They're probably at the peak of emotions and anger and mutual conflict at that point. And would the jury have factored that in? In other words, we've all been in fights with people we love, and so it's not the same as a more conscious.
As Brian smiles, he's like,
yeah. So this is the difficult part for me, and this is where I was getting in trouble at home when I tried to break this down to my wife. What I didn't like about this defense is they didn't.
What I don't like about it, and what we already hearing, and what we already done saying, is they had to hit him with something. They had to hit him with something. They wasn't bullshitting. They wasn't gonna let him go nowhere. He wasn't finna do none of that. None of that. Okay. Jonathan Major. Out of that. Breaking news. Avengers. Kane Dynasty is no more. Oh my God. The Kane Dynasty is. See, that's why I was tripping off Jonathan Majors. Because, you know what I'm saying? He played a major role in a movie that I was liking, that I wanted to see. Yeah, y'all know P. Diddy next. After a while, when his story get real deep, I'm gonna cover that. But right now, I'm not gonna cover when, you know, just this person and that person and this person and that person and this person and that person keep coming out the woodwork. Oh, you know what? he been doing this, and I'm gonna just leave his ass alone. No bullcrap. I am. But it's getting that time. I don't
Factor
even
is
be
by far
bringing up my boy like that. I don't even bring him up like that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. And so, only reason I'm bringing him up now because it's been a minute. It's been a while since I even, you know what I'm saying? He's in the limelight every day, but for real, you know what I'm saying? To hear a good story. And I mean a good story. I don't mean a bad story. I mean just something actually worth my while to actually cover and put up on this damn screen and talk to you guys about it and break it down and see if we can have a conversation. And that factors in the mindset of things. I think it's time to bring the boy Trump Peasy up there. Trump Trinidad.
We are fewer than
Trinidad.
30 days out from the Iowa Republican caucuses. The rhetoric is ramping up and in some cases getting uglier. During a recent campaign stops in New Hampshire and Nevada, former President Donald Trump stoked fears about undocumented immigrants coming across the U.S.-Mexico border. Par for the course since the day he rode down the escalator and declared himself a candidate for president back in 2015. But the themes and choices of his words this weekend are significant. The former president again repeating language that echoes white supremacists. Trump saying that illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our country. And on Sunday that...
Okay. They just gonna sit up here and come up with this good old narrative and say, hey, he coming up with white supremacists. How is telling the truth about the illegal immigration that y'all letting come over in this border that's flooding over here, that have nowhere to go, that's sleeping on the streets, that's sleeping in police station, that's selling their body, that's doing drugs, that's ODing over here in these American streets? It's racist. It's white supremacists. How is that white supremacist if a black person agrees with them? But see, they're gonna understand, y'all. They're gonna play this narrative right here. They're gonna keep playing this narrative and keep lying to. Let's bring that back.
Repeating language that echoes white supremacists. Trump saying that illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our country. And on Sunday that migrants are invading from foreign prisons and mental institutions. Suffice to say, he offered no proof for any of that. Among others, former New Jersey governor and Trump GOP rival Chris Christie called Trump disgusting and his words dog whistling. The Biden campaign, meantime, responded to those poisoning comments, saying that Donald Trump parroted Adolf Hitler. Now, is that a fair comparison? Let's dig deeper. About 15 years before he systematically murdered millions of people, Hitler put that phrase in Mein Kampf, quote, "Great civilizations died out as a result of contamination of the blood," calling it a poison to the national bloodstream and infecting public life. Hitler was warning about German blood.
None of those extra quotes that he just said is up there. None of that has nothing to do with what Trump said with illegal immigration. No, he didn't say American citizens are speak. If y'all fall for this rhetoric, if I heard somebody come to me and tell me that Trump said some racist ass shit about illegal immigrants again, I'm like, you's a fool. Well, they said that he quoted exactly what Hitler did. Okay. All right. Is there a bunch of illegal immigrants coming over here? A border, 11,000 a day. Is they getting cold? Is they getting free? Is they making more money than you? Is they trying to find jobs? Is they all in out there? Like, why is they here? criminals, families, babies, people don't have a fucking ID, no visa, no name. Well, you know they got a name. Okay.
Blood being, as he described it, poisoned by Jews. At his prior event in New Hampshire last month, Trump also used the word vermin to describe his political rivals. Comments that were condemned by President Biden as well as language you heard in Nazi Germany. Now, is that an accurate?
Now, how Biden know that? Who told Biden? Who told Biden that? Somebody had to sit up there and Biden. He's saying what them Nazis be saying, man. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. I read it in a nursery rhyme book. On my mama, for real.
Claim. Hitler's Nazi Party came to power partly by pounding the idea that the German government was being overrun by Marxists, something that Trump has suggested now is happening in the United States for years. When he wrote about rooting out Marxists and Jews, Hitler wrote, quote, "There was time enough at home at least to exterminate this vermin." The Trump campaign did respond to criticism over his speech this weekend, saying that Trump's speech was great. They previously shot down that vermin comparison this way: "Those who try to make that ridiculous assertion are clearly snowflakes, grasping for anything because they are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome." And they added this:
They're finally putting on air and admitting to themselves and people that do not like Trump, this right here is what you got. What you want? I want to kind of draw over here.
Their sad, miserable existence will be crushed when President Trump returns to the White House. An interesting choice of words there, Brianna.
Certainly. And here's the thing. Trump's interest in Hitler and Nazi Germany, it's not a recent development. Several journalists have documented it. Michael Bender of the Wall Street Journal wrote in his 2021 book about how in 2018, Trump told his then chief of staff, retired four-star General John Kelly, as Kelly was explaining to Trump who the allies and enemies were in both world wars, quote, "Well, Hitler did a lot of good things," praising the Fuhrer for his economic policies. Now, Kelly pushed back as Trump reportedly persisted speaking positively about Hitler. Trump later denied making those comments. But in 2022, Susan Glasser and Peter Baker.
So y'all went back. Really? We got to go that far back? We're stretching. Because we know that it's less than a year that y'all have to prove that this guy is doing something. Y'all are stretching y'all damn balls off. Okay. All right. I see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Wrote in their book, The Divider, about how Trump, frustrated by his military leadership, exclaimed to Kelly as well, "You effing generals, why can't you be more like the German generals?" "Which generals?" Kelly asked. "The German generals in World War II," Trump responded. "You do know that they tried to kill Hitler 3 times and almost pulled it off," Kelly said. But Trump insisted, no, they were totally loyal to him. That model of the Third Reich, bastardized as it was how Trump wanted the American military modeled, the book claims. But this isn't new as well. Let's rewind all the way back to 1990 when Vanity Fair reported that Trump's former wife, the late Ivana Trump, had told her lawyer that Donald Trump occasionally read from a book of Hitler's collected speeches, My New Order, which he supposedly kept in a cabinet by his bed. And a friend of Trump told the magazine on
They're doing a very good job.
the record that he had given Trump the book, saying he thought Trump would find it interesting. Now, Trump denied this, saying, quote, "If I had these speeches, and I'm not saying that I do, I would never read them." More recently, Trump has unapologetically entertained anti-Semites. Trump had Nick Fuentes and Kanye West as dinner guests just last year at Mar-a-Lago.
No, he didn't. Just gonna put the boy that was so wild about. Listen here, I'm not even gonna go too much further on with this because they is definitely definitely putting on a show. They like, look here, we do not like that boy. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Man, if y'all don't like Trump, just leave the man alone. Y'all ain't gotta y'all ain't gotta do that to him. Y'all ain't gotta do that to him. You ain't gotta. Yeah. They be tripping, y'all. It's the Burn Loud Show. Merv Wiley keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes. Changing the viewers eye red. Keeping underage smoking on social media. Killing myself for your entertainment. Thank you for hanging out with your boy. It's been another Burn Loud Dilly. For sure. Look, they just messed up my whole little ending with that little bull crap. Oh, my mama. I ain't think we were going to go like that. But it's going to be another good one, y'all. I got another show I'm putting together. Working out this new system, dog. I'm working out this new system. I can't wait to put in some more practice and put some more shows. We're in the 400th episode on YouTube, man. I'm proud to be here. This is 401. When I get to 420, you know I gotta do something big. So I'm gonna put a special show up. Actually trying to find what big I really want to do, y'all. And I gotta see how loud that is and see how far I gotta turn that down. But other than that, y'all, it's been a good hell of a show. I appreciate everybody chilling. Till next time.